wants to tame me. You can't catch me on the run, cause I'm gone, yeah. I blaze trails, set fire to what's behind me. No, I'm never looking back, I'm on the run. I could only ever be what I'm made to be. It feels good when I'm living on the edge. Watch me now, roll like thunder, gonna shake the ground. Can't stop me now, I don't give up and I won't back down. I'm a force of nature, can't be contained. I got lightning running all through my veins. Watch me now, watch me now.
Hi, my name is Wyatt Milam, and I'm from Knobbe, West Virginia. When I'm back home in Knobbe, you will find me at my local Par-Mar store.
We had that golden blue pride at Par-Mar. There are literally hundreds of Par-Mar stores in West Virginia, Kentucky, Ohio, and Pennsylvania, and even more on the way. Download the Par-Mar app to save even more. And whether it's food, gas, groceries, or whatever, we have you covered at Par-Mar. West Virginia proud and ready to serve you.
And if there's not a Par-Mar store near you now, there will be soon.
And welcome, my friends, and hello, Mountaineers. I'm the Wolfman, Dale Wolfley, and this is the Wolfman's Call. Hope you're having a good day today. Man, it's been a wild day for me, but I got some really cool things coming up here on the Wolfman's Call. And one of those is that, Scott Hawley, let's go right back to it. Scott Hawley's a friend of mine, and he's the son of Chuck Hawley, who is now going to be entered into the NFL Hall of Fame. And the really wild thing is that he should have been in 30 years ago. And we all know that. But we are really glad that he is going into the Hall of Fame. So with that being said, I got something really cool from Scott. He just went ahead and sent this to me, and I have to pull it up here. It's so cool, and here we go. And that is this. It is the Hall of Fame presenter, Mr. Cowboy himself, Bob Lilly. How cool is that right there, man? You see that? Yeah, we're going to throw that the other way. Look at it there. Bob Lilly is going to be Chuck Hawley's presenter. Now, Chuck won't be able to make the trip because he has the health issues that he's not allowed to go. And really, it's a shame. And this is one of the reasons why with other players, such as Darryl Talley, who's been around, that you want to get them in and get them while they're healthy. And so I want to make that point very clear. Darryl Talley's doing just fine. But we want to make sure that we don't go too long without letting them being recognized because, honestly, with Chuck Hawley, I mean, this guy was brilliant. How he ever got overlooked was incredible. I don't know how. I really don't. But as I sit here and I look at him, and I was talking, of course, to Chuck, and he was telling me, not Chuck, but to Scott, he was telling about the whole process, and I was able to help him a little bit. The sports writers put you in there, and all I tried to do was just to go ahead and get him recognized. So people started saying, hey, listen, what's he not doing in there? So hopefully that would influence the sports writers. And that's all I did. But I have been invited to this summer's Hall of Fame presentation. And, of course, Bob Lilly there and all the NFL Hall of Famers that will be there and the ones that are being inducted. I cannot wait to go to Canton this summer and not participate, being an observant and being there to hopefully help represent West Virginia and Chuck Hawley. I just think that's really cool, man. And, he was such a great player, and it's a fascinating story right out there out of Wheeling. And they've actually named the day after Chuck now up in Wheeling, and they, I think it's like in June. It's all pretty cool. All the events that I've seen happen with Chuck Holly are pretty neat. But anyways, I just got that email from Scott, and Scott's a wonderful family. The Holly family are wonderful people. And so let's get to the other things. I guess Bob Huggins, right? Going to have to pay a heavy fine. If nobody thinks that one doesn't hurt, I think they would be wrong. And I did see some things, and I'm not going to get heavy into this, but just people that were calling for the resignation immediately as organizations that, and whether they're hurt, I'm sure they were, or whatever it may be. But you know what? This is a great opportunity. This is a great opportunity to use a high visibility person like Bob Huggins, and hopefully change a lot of minds and a lot of people's thinkings and a lot of the ways that they can be. You can make a difference. I mean, this is a great opportunity. When you just call for the resignation, I don't know if you're really serious about a solution, right? I mean, just you don't want to go around being like, we just want the heads, just the heads. No, man, we don't want the heads. And I just wanted to make sure, that I think Bob Huggins, I think he's gonna pay a heavy price for this, and I think it will change a lot that he'll have to consider, and it's making me think. And so, if you're making me think, and I'm an old dog myself, that's a good thing. And education and awareness, and we see Keith there. He says we fired everyone. I said the wrong thing. The whole country would be unemployed. I wonder if that's why I am unemployed. No, I am who I am. I am the Wolfman, and I'm not sure if I'm unemployed or not, but this is my job and the Wolfman's call. And I love it. So Keith Hawkins, way to go, Keith. You tell the Z girl, I love her, man. My buddy. I got to still show that clip from the WVU football celebration. Got to show that clip. So, but now, listen, I got something really cool. I got Travis Knobbe, Obi-Wan Kenobi. Travis, he's one of the writers on Last Call, or Last Word of college football. And we had a pretty interesting discussion. And if you hang on to this and hang on before the show ends, we might do a little bit of football breakdown. I'm going to try it. I'm going to get it out here and see if I can't do it for the first time and break it down for you live, man. Well, the pressure is on. But here, let's check out Travis. He wrote 2 articles on the Last Word of college football this week. One is could be a problem in Morgantown, and the other is about the transfer portal. And I think it's interesting because I think it's truthful. Now, let's go and tell you something about Travis before I open this one up, because Travis is a writer. I think he really understands what's going on, and I have a lot of respect for him. He's down in Atlanta. He's a big Mountaineer fan, but he doesn't look at things through rose-colored glasses. And he's pretty smart. He's a lawyer, as I said, pretty smart, and he's pretty good at what he does, and he writes very well. And that tells me that he knows what he's talking about, because guys that do know what they're talking about, they understand, they write it very well because they write it very confident. So when I break down my plays and you see me, I'm talking very confident, it's because that's what I do. And that's what I do well. And we'll see a little bit after this segment. So this is about 20 minutes, I think, with Travis. We got talking. I enjoy talking to him, man. So let's get ready to roll it. Okay, Mountaineer Nation. I've been telling you this for 2 days. I have Obi-Wan Kenobi, and that, of course, is Travis Knobbe. Travis, how you doing today?
I'm doing all right, Wolfman. How are you?
Oh, man, I'm fired up. I'm ready to go. But, you're a lawyer in the daytime, but you love to write articles. You got a great passion for Mountaineer football and Mountaineer athletics, and you write for the Last Word on college football.
Absolutely. And by the way, is there ever a time you're not fired up?
Very few times, my friend. But let's get at it, because now I had one article that we were talking about the other day, and now you've got handwritten 2 articles. So let's get back to the first one you wrote out a couple days ago. Morgantown, we have a problem. So, Travis, let's get at it. And what's the problem, man?
The problem really is that, we're having lack of on-field success at an historic rate, and it comes at the worst time possible when we're looking at, the backdrop of realignment and, the transfer portal growing substantially every year and NIL becoming, a real difference maker in whether a football player continues to play for a program or ever plays for a program in the first place.
What do you see right now is the essence, the problem of Mountaineer football as it is heading into this conference realignment? There's a lot of things that affect this.
I mean, the problem is that we're not winning games. That's if you win games, it solves a lot of issues, right?
Yeah. There's no doubt about that, because when you think about it, you say, hey, we're trying to build a winning culture here. Well, what is that winning culture in my mind? And so I'm thinking about it. When I think about what a winning culture is it that you got to go ahead and win bowl games? You got to win your league division? What is it to start to win a culture? Because look at Kansas. Last year, they went to the bowl, finished, I think, 500 or somewhere around there. But they made a big move in their program, and they're continuing it. What do the Mountaineers have to do to try to be like a Kansas? Because right now, to me, I think that the Mountaineers have exchanged places with the Jayhawks.
Yeah, pretty close to it, if not. I mean, we didn't finish last in the conference last year, but we were, second, third to last? I mean, it wasn't much better than that. It's kind of, we're in that bottom 3 that are all basically the same record. And that's not a good place. And that's not what fans expect of the program, and it's not what we should expect of the program, because we have a long and proud history of being better than that.
As you say, long and proud history, but the situation we're in right now, we haven't seen since 50 years ago.
That's right. And that's exactly what I mean, is we have a history of being better, and you have to go 50 years back to get where we are today. That's not ideal.
It's so funny because one thing bounces off the other. You talked about the draft picks in this, the lack of them, and you look at let's just look at Penn State, our first opponent. And a lot of people actually rank teams, how they're going to compete for the next year, by how many draft picks they get rid of. And that's because of the success they're having. They can replace and reload and go ahead and expect those players to perform at that level, so they compete at that level. And Penn State, as you know, put a lot of players into the draft, and the Mountaineers have not. So, again, it's not just it's winning games, but I guess winning affects everything. Everything sprinkles out underneath it. And so I don't sit here and sound like I'm sucking my thumb here. What do we got to do to get better? Because you talk about the money, conference realignment, you talk about the SEC and the Big Ten, the haves, and now you're talking about possible or conference alignment where the have-nots, the Big 12, ACC, Pac-12. What do the Mountaineers have to do in this time of trouble, in turbulent waters? We know winning, okay? We understand what winning it does for you, but what do they have to do to position themselves in the right spot?
Well, I think it starts with a couple of places. One is we need to do a better job of retaining our best talent. One thing that you and I have talked about separately is the defensive line room and what we lost. We lost a 5-year veteran in Dante Stills, and then we lose Jordan Jefferson and Taj Alston to the transfer portal. And, we're replacing them with Sean Martin and Vesterinen, who both had very good years last year and are tough-nosed football players, very capable. But other than those two, it's really a bunch of freshmen, a Power 5 transfer, Mike Lockhart, and it's a bunch of non-Power 5 down to Division II level transfers trying to fill the gap. And you and I both know that games are won and lost on the offensive and defensive lines. I think the offensive line is really good, but the defensive line is a big question mark. Will those guys be able to meet and blast through the types of offensive lines that we're going to be playing in Penn State and Pitt and several of our Big 12 opponents? And that's a question that remains to be seen. So you got to keep players is the first thing.
Okay. What about developing them? I've been big on this. See, I want to be a half cup full, not a half cup empty. And I think that development is a big part. Now, it's tough to have development when you have a lot of coaching changes as well. And I think the Mountaineers have gone through a bit of that, but they do need to do a better job. If they're going to take in, and we're going to talk about this transfer portal in a second, but they're going to take in guys that are not Power 5 guys, especially the not Power 5 guys. They have to really develop them to at least perform at a Power 5 level.
That's right. And there's one of two ways to do that, right? Is to take somebody who has been developed at a Power 5 level and has played at that level, or you have to take someone who's not going to be expected to contribute right off the bat and develop them. You can't develop a player in fall ball. You can't take a full development of a player in that short of a span of time. It's just not feasible, with rare exception. I mean, think back to, one of my favorite cornerbacks of recent times, Rasul Douglas. It took him a full year to become the player that he was, having transferred from the JUCO ranks. So we can't expect these guys to just step in. So that's what I mean by player retention. Historically, the way that we've done it, I mean, the Coach Nealon way is develop players over 2 or 3 years, and then they're ready, and we have a really good season. And then we have a couple where we're a little bit down, and we're developing the next crop.
Mm-hmm. Well, you're right. Now, let me just say this, because we're going to get in this transfer portal. I want to get a touch on it quickly because I think it's so important nowadays, obviously. But I think you can still develop offensive and defensive linemen. Maybe not defensive linemen as much as you used to, but offensive linemen, you still got to build that strength. And your Jordan Jefferson, he was a freak show in strength, but he really developed, and especially the last 3 years. Remember, he didn't play very much his second year. He played his true freshman year, and he really, really came on. That's a huge loss. Now, what I loved about Sean Martin and Vestinieren, they were good backup guys. They could come in and relieve the starters, Dante, Taj Alston, for 20 reps. Out of the 70 reps, you could get 25 good plays out of them. Now they have to be those guys that are getting the 40, 50 reps. And I just don't see right now who's going to be able to step up in that defensive line.
Well, it's a good question. And that's part of the natural development, right? Is that, like, if you have a healthy and balanced roster any given year, you've got a couple of guys who are returning starters, and you have a couple of guys that are returning depth guys that are being asked to now take on a starter position. And what we did with the additional losses of the transfer portal is we lost the guys we were developing to be the starters to help replace that production of Dante and of Darius a couple years ago.
Yeah, that's a bummer. I mean, if I was Mike Joseph, I'd get all pissed off because I'd be like, man, I just put 3 years into this guy or 2 years into this guy in the weight room, and then he takes off to Miami or somewhere else. I do not want to be a strength coach in today's college football. That's for sure, because they spend so much time working with him. Okay, so transfer portal. Let's get to it, man. I said, you know what, when Neil Brown, they said, hey, he's going to be the guy, the coach. I said, okay, let's win the transfer portal. Was the transfer portal taken out of his hands, though, when Shane Lyons was released and had to wait for the AD to come in and, say, hey, we're good with Neil and we're going to give him the shot? That kind of hurt him for trying to bring in, at least in that first series of transfer portals, the first time in December, January. You think that hurt him, or do you think that had no effect?
I think it would be disingenuous to say it didn't have any effect, but given the way the windows work now, I don't think it had as much of an effect as maybe some folks who are kind of supportive of everything that Neil Brown has done have said. It had some effect. Did it absolutely kill his ability to get players? It shouldn't have.
Well, I think that I honestly believe it did, because I think that it left him in a land. I was the first guy to go out there and say, hey, if you're going to keep him, give him the power. Give him the power. Don't leave a wide vacuum. And I'm looking at this wide vacuum right now. We have 20 players that have left. We have only, I believe, with 11. You tell me about your article in the transfer portal.
Yeah, well, the article was actually just sort of here's what we've got coming back.
Well, I'm going to make you break it down, brother.
Yeah, well, I have the same thoughts that a lot of people do, that we have some very solid team rooms or position rooms on the team. Running back is as solid as it's ever been. Even with the loss of Tony Mathis, the veteran leadership always hurts, but running back is a position that I've never felt truly needed a senior or super senior leader. Sophomores and juniors can get it done. If it's all freshmen, that's a little bit of a problem. So we've got a solid room there. CJ Donaldson was a world beater before he got hurt last year. And Justin Johnson, Jalen Anderson both showed flashes, and I think they'll take the next step. Offensive line room, it's as good as it's been in 5 years, that's for sure. Returning basically 4 starters and returning a lot of snaps outside of the starters. And then linebacker, it's an extremely talented room that we've built through the transfer portal. I mean, Lee Koba, Lance Dixon, Austin Cave, all 3 of those guys, transfer portal guys, very talented players. They've been a little inconsistent so far. If they develop consistency, that may be one of the hidden strengths of the team. But then you start looking at cornerback and safety. That's where I'll start, because cornerback and safety is where we've lost the most number of players each of Neil Brown's seasons since he came here. I mean, we're losing 5 and 6 players out of the secondary to the transfer portal every year. And what we're replacing it with is development guys. Like another, I gave the Rasul Douglas example earlier. Think about Charles Woods. Charles Woods transferred out. He was a development guy. He was a guy that we developed for a year, and then he turned into a guy, and then he got injured and he transferred out. And we're replacing them with a patchwork of guys that are similar to Charles Woods, that are development guys that aren't going to step in necessarily on year one and be an all-conference or even Big 12 caliber corner right off the bat, because the game speed is so much different at this level.
Right.
So biggest question mark to me is the cornerback and safety room. And you have to hope that guys who were the development guys last year, like Hershey McLaurin, step up and become the guys this year. And you don't know until you know on that.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, watching Hershey in junior college when he was in there, and he had set records, MVP in basketball and football in his whole division in those years, I think he's going to be okay. I really do. Aubrey Burks, I think, is going to be a special cat. He's had some rough beginnings because he had to be out there with everybody else. I just don't believe that you can go into a top league like the Big 12 and go with cornerbacks, because receivers are it in the Big 12. Let's face it. There's great receivers, but it means it's speed, and speed kills. And there's no disrespect to any of these players, but when you come in from a FCS school or even a G5 school, you're not facing Xavier Worthies. You're not facing the Texas Tech wide receivers, the Baylor receivers. You just go down the line, right? I mean, it's just like you get into that Big 12, they all run track down there, a lot of them, and they're just flat out fast. And I don't know how you can adapt to that. Well, coming from these other leagues that never see that type of speed.
Yeah, other than development and getting some game reps that are, your first year you want to come in and you want to get game reps that are low pressure, right? So you get used to the speed, and if you make a mistake, it doesn't mean the difference between a win or a loss. But with how many players we keep losing in the secondary, we do have to put players in that position. And your Aubrey Burks example is a great one. He's been put in a position to play maybe before he was ready. And I think it has seasoned him, and he's going to be better this year as a result. But now you've got other guys who have left, and we've got to do the same thing with. And we can never get, even 4 out of the 5 on the field at the same time who are all in that position where they've been seasoned.
Right. Okay, so let's finish it up with this on this whole transfer portal thing. I may have sabotaged you a little bit just because you thought we were going to be talking about the other article. But there's been, we have 11 transfers that have come in, and 6 are G5, and 1 is FCS from Abilene Christian, and 4 are Power 5. Can you win Big 12 with that? Or does it come down to the development? Like I said, these coaches have to develop, and they got to do it now. Because that's the whole point of this, right? Is to win now, you have to pay now and somehow change that attitude of who you are, even though you got a record of 22 and 25 behind you. You have to say, listen, this is what we're doing, and this is how we're changing it, and come out with a fiery attitude. I think you got to be some kind of a hard ass. I really believe that. I think it's the attitude. Let me ask you this, because I want to be this half cup full. So I want to say that we can go out and change these guys, but who's going to change it? Now, I know Zach Frazier could change anyone. I know that Wyatt Milam could change anyone. Doug Nestor, okay? All those guys in the offensive line. But I'm not sure that we got enough leadership on the defensive part. I know Lee Koba could change anyone. But then again, I'm sitting out there and you say, okay, Lee Koba, awesome. Well, why do we have a 225-pound spear in Lance Dixon, who the last time he played middle linebacker made 12 tackles against Minnesota? Against some big old boys, against one of the best offensive lines in the country, and he's now playing outside the box. I broke down the spring game. He's a dude that's not used to that position yet. I don't know how you could go ahead and put him out at a spear outside the box when you got a perfect guy who's in the box.
Yeah, and it's a little inconsistent with some of the things that Neil Brown has said, as recently as I understand some of the remarks from the coaches caravan, is that, one, he says he has the best roster that he's ever had at West Virginia right now. And 2, that one of the ways they're working the defense and getting it better is by simplifying it. But you and I both know that, simplifying what you're being asked to do generally means putting people in a position where they've had reps over and over and over again at the thing that comes most naturally to them. And Lance Dixon is kind of a contradiction to that, right? They're putting him in a new position, and doesn't matter how much you try to simplify what that position does if he's not used to it.
Did you say that Neil Brown just said he's got the best roster he's had since he's been here?
Yes.
Okay. Well,
and remains to be seen.
I'm going to go with the cup half full, and I'm going to say, okay, until I see anything that I would say no way, because we still haven't filled out all of our transfer portal issues, but didn't he say that was the best secondary he ever had last year? Most athletic. No, he said it was the most athletic secondary he had last year.
Yeah, he did. Now, granted, a couple of players got hurt, right? Especially losing Charles Woods that early in the season hurt what the secondary could do. You can mask certain things if you've got a really good cover corner on one side. And Charles Woods the year before had graded as both the best coverage corner that was returning and the best zone corner that was returning in the Big 12. So you can't really – I don't want to understate what the loss of that player meant and why I've said his name several times when I've talked about the transfer portal. Losing him was a big blow.
Yep, I agree with you, man. And we're going to have to go ahead and you're going to have to come back here and check in over the summer, see these other transfer portal guys who's coming in, the crew. We're gonna have Nico on the show, man, and a bunch of players coming on. So I'll get you out here talking to them, maybe see what you can ask a question. You know what I really want? I'm gonna leave it at this. I want someone to go in there with Neil Brown and his. I used to do a radio show with him for 3 years, and so I want someone to go in there and say, hey, what's the deal with this? What's the deal with this? I want good questions. What do you think about that? You want good questions in there? I want good questions.
I'd love to have good questions. Whether he'll answer them fully or not remains to be seen. He's pretty adept at.
I think he answers the good questions. When I was there, I worked for the government. When I'm saying government, I worked for the university, so I had to temper my questions to be good questions, truthful. But at the same time, they weren't deep, man. You know what I mean? They're not going to sit there and go right to the heart and say, Are you gonna be good? Or are you gonna suck? You know what I mean? It's not what we did. We were paid to create good stuff about the program, and that's what we did. And I think that sometimes I don't think people are asking hard questions, and I'd like to see that a little bit change and have to come out of a good press briefing and answer a little more questions. Maybe we'll see it happen, right? I mean,
hey, it would be good for the program. I think get some honest, good questions out there.
All right, that's just me talking, man. Listen, hey, Travis Knobbe, Obi-Wan Kenobi, last word on college football. How many articles are you going to do a week now? What are you going to do?
Generally, it's one a week. I had some extra time this weekend and wanted to put two things out there. The Morgantown We Have a Problem is an article I've been working on for 5 months. I just couldn't get it in the right form, and it looked different before we hired Ren Baker and he started actually focusing on the volume and of smaller donors. That was one of the problems I thought needed to be addressed. Is I didn't think we were getting enough of a percentage of our alumni base involved in that process, and I think we're doing a better job now.
All right, well, good for Ren Baker because he's gonna need it. That's for sure. All right, there we go, Travis. Thank you. Have a great day. We'll talk to you later.
All right.
All right. Well, Travis Knobbe, Obi-Wan Kenobi. Now, I'm going to tell you, as I don't like to hear it from a lot of guys that just sit there and write and talk about it, because I like to hear my own opinion. I like to form my own opinions. And I always did that with Jed Drenning, and Jed always had great knowledge, great insight. But he used to try to talk to me, and I'm like, dude, listen, okay, you're going to tell it on the radio, and I'm going to tell my thing on the radio because we're going to have, a little bit different view, and that's good radio. I said, because you got good stuff, I got good stuff. I don't want to hear from you because I don't want it to get in my ear. He used to laugh and look at me like I was some kind of nut. Well, I am a nut. I'm the Wolfman, and this is the Wolfman's Call. I'm very happy to be here. So let's take a look here. We got a couple questions. Let's see here. It said, replying to Keith Hawkins, no. Oh, Rodney Gallagher. Where's he going to line up? I think he's slotted to be an inside receiver. He's not a real big man at this point of his career. You know what? And again, let's just really talk about this, because what I think is important that we don't go ahead is put too much pressure on a freshman who's not even been in uniform. He hasn't put on his helmet yet. He hasn't even been here at summer camp yet. They don't get here, I don't think, till the beginning of June. But what's the most important thing is, we go ahead. Let's see what he can do. If he can handle the pressure, he will be able to. Because look, let's take a look here. C.J. Donaldson, right? C.J. Donaldson. Neil Brown, big kudos to you, man. You came and And CJ Donaldson came in. He was supposed to be a tight end. You had the whereabouts, the know-abouts, the smart-abouts. You had all the abouts to know that he was going to be a freshman that was going to contribute and be a running back instead of a tight end. So to me, that just showed me what great ability that Neil Brown has to be able to display that. Oh, I mean, I'm telling you, that's pretty cool, man. A true freshman, and you gotta sit there. You gotta look over a little bit of you got a bias over here. I got a favorite guys. I'm coming into this summer, this fall camp with some ideas in my mind, and then all of a sudden, this guy's stomping out there, and it's like, well, we might have to redirect. That's a sign of a good coach. It's a sign of a good coach. It really is. And don't tell me if you're like a Neil Brown hater or whatever. No, then you're just a hater. Because you know what? You're just a hater because you don't look at knowledge. So that's the whole thing. What I really want to do. I want to help as best I can. Help to contribute to re-educate the process of what's going on in the football. I think America's lost it, not just West Virginia. I mean, but to put pressure now on a freshman who we don't know. I mean, I don't know. He may come in and be incredible. And I'll be like, yeah, the first one to do it. But the way Neil Brown introduced C.J. Donaldson was a perfect way. So the natural things will take care of the natural. Rodney will come in, and if he's that special, he will shine. But you know what? If he needs more time, it doesn't matter, because that's okay too. Because not everybody can be a C.J. Donaldson. I wasn't. Now, I was pretty darn good. I mean, I did play my redshirt freshman year as an offensive lineman. With stories to galore about that. We'll talk to Kevin Koken at my first story against Ohio State when he told me I better not up during a timeout when I went running out there. National TV, West Virginia, 1987. Yeah, it was live. It was crazy. People are like, hey, don't you ever get nervous going on air live? And I'm like, oh, if I can go into Ohio State and go on live TV in front of my family, my friends, my university, Mountaineer Nation, and try to make it, I'm okay sitting there talking to you guys, because you're all my buddies anyways. You're all my friends, right? We're all friends here. So again, Bob Huggins, this recap, good news, right? Good stuff going on with Coach. He's going to have to pay his dues. Great opportunity to get awareness out there, get education out there. I think it's changed my mind in a lot of ways, or at least awareness, to make sure that, I mind my P's and Q's, because I don't want to go around offending people. At the same time, him losing his job over that would be ridiculous to me, because it's a screw up, and it's a screw up. And I screw up a lot. So I would have a hard time going ahead and hurting someone there. But let's get this out here first. Okay, right here, Artisan Grange, fellas. Okay, listen, I want to tell you something. You want to go and kiss your girlfriend, your wife, and all that, fellas, and you want to chew tobacco, right? Like Copenhagen and all that nasty nicotine stuff. Well, you can go right here to Artisan Grange, right? It's even WolfManDip.com. That's right, WolfManDip.com. I mean, really, you could go there, artisangrange.com. It's all hemp, man. It's good stuff. Okay, it's not bad. There's no nicotine in there. There's no tobacco. It's not addicting. It helps me sleep. I mean, I'll tell you what, I even have like circulation, good stuff going on. I'm running around, I'm getting all frisky in my old age, because this is Artisan Grange. It's hemp dip. It's wolfmandip.com. Or let me just say, you can go in your local Parmar store, because Parmar's killing it, and your little general store. And they should have, if they don't have it, look underneath the counter, because they might have it right there. You know what I'm talking about? Say, hey, yeah, you might have it because it's in your counter. Just check it, ask it. It's artisangrange.com. It's wolfmandip.com, or it's Parmar Stores or Little General. What else we got here going on? Let's see. Love Hugs has old school, and yes, he did mess up, but not enough to be left for dead under the tire tracks. Under the tire tracks. So you'd have to run over him. That's what you're saying. Because I was thinking tracks, I'm thinking of train. But you're right. I can't disagree with that. All right, so that's pretty cool right there. Hey, listen, we're gonna hit some commercials here, and then I'm gonna go ahead and come back with something cool. We're gonna try it. I got the guts because you know what? I gotta have the guts to give it a shot. So let's go ahead, throw out a commercial or two here of our favorite people because you got Wilson Martino, you got Danny Cava, and automobile stuff. So let's throw out my favorite commercials. Oh, Menards spaghetti, dudes, come on, man, let's go. And then we're gonna try to break down some spring game film. Here we go. Let's roll it.
Dan Cava has the largest selection of new Camrys in the area, and with $1,000 off sticker price, now is the best time to purchase your new Camry. We also have a wide variety of Tundras, some featuring the all-new TRD lift kit. And don't forget, all new Toyotas come with 2 years or 25,000 miles worth of free service from our award-winning service department, which you can schedule online, by phone, or through the Toyota app. Come see us at Dan Cava Toyota World in Fairmont. Shop the world.
Stationers, #1 office supplier in West Virginia. Always in stock. All right. Yes, I am back. It is the WolfMan's call, and I'm going to go ahead and bring up this video. But you're right, David Cummings. I definitely would be better breaking down the film than Joey, an armchair quarterback. There's no doubt about it. But let's say this, okay, because I don't want to go ahead and put Joey down too much because for a dude that smokes a lot, he moves around pretty well. Hey, Joe, you know what you got to do? You got to get an Artisan Grange, man. You got to get the hemp dip right there, baby. Parmar Stores, Little General, or wolfmandip.com. Joey, stop smoking, save your health, baby. You got it? And let's go. What else is there? Oh, you're talking about Rodney Gallagher going both ways. I'll tell you what. I saw Rodney. I thought he was really talented, and I'm not saying he could never go both ways because who would I be to not know that? And fortunately, you got a coach like Neil Brown that can sit there and say, "Hey, guys can change." I just don't know if a young man would be coming out of high school and the weights and the athletics would be able to handle a Big 12 schedule like that. I didn't mean to skip that. I did see that in the comments, but let's see what we got here. Hold this up. We'll move this down here. I'm going to go right there. So we change it. Okay. Now, I'm going to try this live. It's not so easy. This is not like on my TV shows I used to do where I had the clicker and I was, and this good stuff. But let's do it. Let's see what we have here. You see me down there at the little box right here. So I can still stay on the screen. I'm all happy because it's about me, right? But let's take a look here. Now, this is the first play, Garrett Green. And what you're seeing here in this lineup is you're going to see two backs. One back's going to go sail motion, sail away from the ball. And you're going to see this box here, 4 and 1. 4 defensive linemen, 1 linebacker. But what you're also going to see here is a cover 4 in the background. That's a cover 4, and it's quarter, 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 and quarter. And so this guy here, we see the arrow, okay? That's also going to be a dude that's in run support. So what they're doing, they're showing here is you have 5 offensive linemen on offense and 2 running backs. Well, the defense in the box, which is what we call the box. The box is nothing more than just a barroom brawl, man. And if you haven't been in a barroom brawl, then you don't know what the box is, okay? So the barroom brawl, 5 guys, 4 defensive linemen there, and 1. Now, to be quite honest with you, because you have a running quarterback in Garrett Green, to me, I would want another person in the box. But I put the arrow in there because you see the safety here is going to come running on down. So we're going to see the handoff here. It's going to go to C.J. Donaldson, and it's going to go for 6 yards. Going to go ahead, and we're going to roll it. And right there you see, that's Lee Knobbe. Now, Lee Knobbe is a tough guy. So C.J. Donaldson come running downhill, and you're going to see this. Look at that. He pushes him back for 6 yards. That's 6 yards. That's what happens now, my friends, when you go in with a 5-man box against personnel. You have 7 guys there plus a running quarterback, which adds to the box, the threat of the run. And that, of course, is good with Garrett Green there. So you see that coming there. Let's watch the blocks right here because let's check this out. Okay, so you have the center coming off here to take this lineman. These 2 are working these guys. That's not quite good enough right there. You'll see it on the back end. But you're going to see here, Brandon Yates is going to come in here really for who? Lee Knobbe, but he's going to end up here with the safety. 24, I got it. Don't worry. 24, Marquise Floyd. So Marquise Floyd is going to come crashing up. Okay, so they do fill, even though there's 5 guys in the box, the defensive lineman and 1 linebacker, Lee Knobbe, and they take Floyd and Phil because it's cover 4, and that's his run assignment in cover 4. Their quarters at best, run. But you're going to see this. That I'm going to continue this on. Again, I got different tools here, guys. Please give me a little bit of patience. And you see that Brandon Yates came off here because he turned into the first attacker. But what you never don't want to forget is you got a good running back and you just got 6 yards. That's not bad right there. Good job. You can see right here, I'll take this just back just a little bit, okay? And what Garrett Green is, remember now, this is a read zone, right? So it's a read zone, and we're looking at the end zone here. Watch Garrett Green, the quarterback, in the end zone view. Okay, look where his head is. He's looking at, number 45 here, which is Torres Simmons. So that's the read. He's got to hold him, and this is a good handoff by Garrett Green. He made the right decision to hand it off to C.J. Donaldson. And right there you can see it. Okay, I want to see a better scoop block on the right side, but again, you still have a successful running play, and, you better watch out because you start lining up at 5 in the box like the Big 12. They love to squeeze and play games and that. Now I'll tell you what. I think with the advantage that the Mountaineers have in this is that what's the advantage that they have is that they're going to be a heavy running team, and either quarterback that they have, either one. Okay, let's be honest here, are both running the ball and running threats. So that's what's good. I'll tell you, I'm so excited to move into this future of Mountaineer history. I'm so excited because this is a running quarterback. This is another threat. This is another number in the box. And hopefully I can show this education to you without boring you and you thinking that it's good. Okay, let me find my way because you have to run it from here. And that's the pile up there. So now let's go. I think this is a passing play. It's going to be right here. Okay, the TV camera of the spring game was bad because they're showing this backfield and then jumping in here. But let's take a look. We got a play action pass right here, and you're going to see Garrett Green is going to go ahead and throw it to Jeremiah Aaron. Now, if you take us back here, or we'll go to the next segment. Okay, it's the first read. Good read by Garrett Green. It's the first read. He was open, and we're going to show that to you right here. right there. Oh, look at the circles. The circle's cool, right? That's cool. So you see here now, cover 4 again, quarters, and he rolled up here. Aubrey Burks rolled up. Now, this is what I don't like, okay? And this is what hurt the secondary last year is Jeremiah Aaron's getting a free release. You know what a free release is? All these guys, that's why they do all those moves like that, right? Okay, because they're trying to get a free release while defenders are trying to jam. Well, I like to see more of a jam because if you jammed him, you might actually reroute him and make Garrett Green's pass go off. So we look at it here, and then we're going to move on down to the throw. He makes a good catch. Jeremiah Aaron, I think he's another guy is junior college. Oh, you see it right there, right? We gotta reroute that guy a little bit. But that was his first read, and his first read was open, so he threw it, and it was accurate. And what do you have? I think Jeremiah's going to show you real quick. First down, baby. Cool. All right, you see it. The other side, give you all the looks of it, so you can try to get it as best you can. And I'm going to try to keep going here and explaining it. Again, start off with the backfield, and you'll see this here. Okay, he hands the ball off. Garrett Green hands the ball off to Jeremiah Aaron. Now, you see Garrett Green, the quarterback here, and you see Torres Simmons. So, once again, it's a good move because Torres was sitting there waiting. It's the read. It's the read reverse. And he could have done either one. And he could have handed off or give to Jeremiah Aaron, which he did. And then this. Whoa, look at my man, Lee Koba. Yeah, man. I like Lee Kobe. Look at, he runs. I tell you know what? I think that he can sometimes get in trouble going back and forth one direction to the other because he's so big. But when he runs in a straight line, he's very, very dangerous and he's powerful. I like Lee Koba. I have for a long time. In fact, I would do some things with him on defense because I think he can be a menace. And I think you move him around, you shoot him here, you shoot him there. Kind of like, now I'm not going to say that. We're not there yet with that. So kind of like shooting him around and getting in there. But look at go sideline to sideline. Hey, that's a middle linebacker, sideline to sideline. And he's got the speed to do that. Yeah, you got to be happy. Okay. Oh, look at this now. This is cool. So we sit here and, you talk about, sorry, I cannot get to this exact placement every time, so I'm just going to run back real quick. And we start out here. Eventually. There we go. Okay. Now look at the triangle here, okay? Usually you see the bunch, right? We call it a bunch. And you have like 3 receivers. But you have, I believe that's Traylon Davis, the tight end right there. And he is in pretty much a 2-point bent over, but you see it, that's kind of a bunch. It's still a bunch formation. It's not all receivers now. So the formation is really cool. It's still 11 personnel, one running back, 1 tight end, and you see the 2 wide receivers there, and then on the other side, a wide receiver. You see cover 4 here. This is all it is you're looking at quarters, and what's going to happen here? You see the bunch here? Well, look at kind of that triangle here. And this is how they're defending it. So let's check it out, see what happens. But I just wanted to point out, I like this formation. I like it. You use the tight end. It's not just the receivers all the time. Get that tight end going somewhere that can be useful. You can use them because they can do a lot of things. And we move it here. Big handoff here. Again, I think Garrett Green makes the right decision right there. That's an automatic handoff. And you see C.J. Donaldson gets in there. And with C.J., what does he do? He gets 2 more yards from his hit. That's pretty big. That's physical, man. That's really physical. Okay, so now you see right here, we're looking at a man free. This is going to be Garrett Green pass. It's going to be 11 personnel because you're going to have a tight end up top, right below the 40 there, and 3 receivers at the bottom. So this is you're going to see this as man-free coverage, meaning that the 3 dudes at the field here are man. The guy up top behind the referee or the ump is the free guy, and the other guy over here is over the tight end. But let's check this out. See, play action pass again. Oh, no. No. Okay, listen. That cannot happen, all right? Take a look again here just so you get familiar with it. I don't rush you. You're going ahead and you're seeing the tight end up top there at the 40. And then you're looking at the three receivers here. These guys are man. That dude up here is man free right there. He's going to cover center field. But look at this. Lee Knobbe, what did I say? Lee Knobbe, he goes in there and he causes all this kind of commotion, right? You can't have this. This is the center, Brandon Yates. And, you son, I love you. You know how much I love you. But you can't take this and make Garrett Green have to run, because Garrett Green still, at this point in his career, likes to run too quickly. And we'll look at that down the line. But let's go. Let's be fair here. Let's see Garrett Green, play action pass. And what does he got? So we can't really see in the screen, but right here, he's got a shot here. This tight end, I think it's Traylon Davis, is knocking the corner over. So, hey, try to run away from him, not through him. Reminds me of my son Stone, if you know what I mean. But you're going to see here. Now, we don't know where this play needs to go and develop. These guys are covered here. But watch when you see the middle come out. Okay, so now he's got to put his head down. Now he's got to run. And he's going to have to make a decision. And he makes the right decision here. And he goes and he tries to get. Now, you don't know. The whistle went. So that's both with Nico and Garrett, is that they both kind of got restricted a little bit because the whistle was quick. But watch. This is what I'm talking about now. Okay? Lee Knobbe coming in. Listen, you have 1, 2, 3. You got 4 guys rushing 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, 5 offensive linemen. And you have 4 here. But they're doing is they're rushing in points. So they're bringing more into a gap here with number 8 and number 19. Number 19, of course, is, as I get used to these numbers, is Trey Lathan, the youngster. Okay, I like him. He's got potential. And you see this, but watch. You can't do it, man. Don't get, you know what? You go ahead here. You get knocked on your keister. You gotta tell your mom that. It's not fun. It's just not fun. I mean, you go back into the room with the guys, and you got to sit there and be like, yeah, I just got knocked on my can. No, you got to play better than that. Be ready. Be ready for those inside blitz. I know Lee Knobbe's. He's a tough dude. He's tough, but so are you, Brandon. So are you, man. So get up, pick your head up, because we all fall. I'll get back up. Okay. So next play, because we all get up, but we all forget about the play right before. Where's the next play? I believe it's coming. Okay. Now, this is kind of cool here. So I'm seeing 2 receivers at the bottom, tight end up top, and then a wide receiver. So we're still looking at 11 personnel. I'm looking here, kind of look like a cover 3 base. Let's see what happens here. We have motion by Jeremiah Aaron. And actually, they're rolling right here. You can see the defensive secondary is rolling. Oh, yeah, that was a roll. Oh, okay, this is what great camera coverage here, by the way. All right, I'm going to let this run through. I'm going to tell you why this makes me very angry. But, Wolf, they just want to have fun, right? They just want to have fun. Well, you can look at it that way, having fun. That is a perfect situation to see. How many reps does Garrett Green have in his career? How many reps does he have where he can sit there and say, it's 3rd down and we got to make choices? Third, I mean, you got to make first downs. And that's real cute, and that's fun for the spring game. But with a team that needs to have experience, especially the quarterback spot, it don't kick me, man. That don't thrill me. You ain't shooting no thrills up my skirt, if you know what I'm saying. Okay? I want to see, that's a wasted rep. Now, you can say, Wolf's going on a rampage. No, I'm just telling you the way I coach football. Okay? That's the way I coach football. I would not waste that rep. But not. All right, I'm done. Have fun. I'm not trying to destroy it, but at the same time, doggone it. You could have had an opportunity for Garrett Green to make a first down and hopefully throw the ball, maybe go to a second progression read, because that's what you're trying to do, right? Be able to do both of those. Okay, come in here. Nico gets in here. Here we go. Nico gets the ball, and it's an automatic. I'll tell you what this is right here. Okay, this is Saraland, man. Jarrell Williams, 6'2", 230. I like this kid in high school out of Alabama, Saraland. And here he is getting the ball. You got Nico, who's just a youngster. He's got 4 years to go. And he gets out there. Just go ahead and throw the ball out here. Now, what's important here is you see the two blockers in front of Jarrell Williams. Okay, Jarrell's going to go ahead and he's going to miss, or he's going to high step it and avoid this tackler. And I've seen out here, the number out there, he is going to go ahead and he's going to get a good block. But right here, man, this is the block. That's not good. This is not good. You know why? Because here it goes. Okay, he's free. Jarrell Williams is free. Right there, man. That's what we're talking about is there. That's not good because now he makes the tackle. So everybody counts. Everybody. There you go. Look at, okay, he's going to avoid him. I'll take my chances with a fast dude like Jarrell Williams, a skilled young man against a guy in the open field. Go ahead. We'll take our chances with that. That's your thinking as an offensive coach, right? And here's a good block here. Up there, you got to do better. Got to do better. You can't accept this. You can't win at Penn State with this type of acceptance. You can't do it. And that's what I'm talking about. Is like, listen, right there. No. And it's just about your setup. He didn't get beat physically. Not at all. It's about your setup. And how did you set up? How did you approach? Because everything matters. It gets down to the nitty gritty. I can't tell you, man, what Darryl Taylor, how many times he says, it's those little things that matter. It really is. So getting back there, good job by Nico. Now, I'm just going to go through this one series with Nico, and we've already been over an hour. So my gosh, why do I love this stuff? Okay, so Nico right here, you see him, he hands the ball off here. This is a good job because Braden Dudley right there, I believe it was Braden. That's 97 right there. 97 is, I don't know. Maybe we got the wrong number. Anyways, it doesn't matter. He hands the ball off. Now, this is what drives me insane. You can see here, Jalen Anderson saying, man, this is my shot. This is my chance to go ahead. And when I have two with blocks and they just come around, I'm not going to look good. And they come back in the huddle. You're like, oh, I'm sorry, man. And they're like, yeah, no, you're not as sorry as I am because that was my opportunity to get the rock. You only get so many rocks, only number of chance to carry the rock right there. And it happens. Again, I'm not ripping on these guys. I'm telling you, this is how you coach. This is constructive criticism, man. I'm all about these young men. I'm all about them, but I'm not going to let them and say, you know what, that's okay. No, we're not going to cuddle you. We're going to tell you that's not okay right here. And if you tell me that's the way it's supposed to be, now, then I'll have to go home. Listen, right here. The center calls out the Mike linebacker, and everybody has a person to block from there. This guy here is a youngster. He's a youngster, okay? But he's not even looking here. I mean, he can't be looking. I mean, it's right there. You just can't do it. Run blind, and then all of a sudden, what you get up here, you get another missed block, and Jarrell or Jalen Anderson's going, yo, man, we can do better. Yes, we can, and we will do better. It's a spring game. Okay, Nico here. We got trips here at the bottom. You got one receiver up top. Basically, you got that could be a tight end there on the hash right there. Tough to see from this point of view for me. See, Nico comes out. Okay, a little bit of pressure going on there on the outside. He didn't get much of a chance. This to me is not on Nico right here because he's just trying to set up, and then he's out there. Now ball gets deflected. I'm not going to put that. That's not a negative to me on Nico unless he had another play he could have called that there's an option that I'm not aware of. Okay, so let's take a look here. The hand up. Now, there you go. Look at this run. This run right here. This Tony Mathis. Now, people are like, oh, we got C.J. Donaldson. We got Jalen. And we got, Justin Jump Cut Johnson. And you're right, you do. You really do, man. But I'm going to tell you something. This dude, Tony Mathis, was a two-time gridiron gladiator. And he was a leader. And he gets yardage. And he would have been fit in awesome with this group. Now, probably not the number of reps he wanted. So that's probably why he left. Again, is what everybody's telling me. I haven't talked to Tony, so I'm just speculating now, just speculating. But we're gonna, at one point, you don't lose this type of talent, not have it hurt. It's not the end be all. I'm just saying it hurts. And I wish Tony the very best because I really like the young man. Think very highly of him. But watch him come in. Well, he gets there, he puts his shoulders down, and he's always rolling forwards. You see him running downfield. Tough man to stop. He'll take 6 yards every single time. Good handoff by Nico, too, because the defensive end was there to check. So, again, let's not let these young quarterbacks, okay, as we're grading them, let's make sure that they're doing what they need to do, even though it's a running play, because we have to have them be a threat appearance on the run. We have to. All right, here we go. Now, what do we got here? Oh, I like this. Yeah, you got Cole Taylor right there. Look at that. Okay, now, I'm going to tell you guys something. All right? You can say, that's not a big deal, Wolf. Oh, I'm going to tell you. When you get out there and you're young and you're a youngin' and you have this type of patience to hang on to the ball, okay, with some 3 guys I'm looking at here, how many guys are coming down at you? It's a rollout. Good job on the rollout. Look at this. You got 3 dudes in blue coming at you. You're young, okay, and you have the patience for that. You wait and see. I'm telling you. Here we go. And big 6'7" man. I love a 6'7" tight end. I love a 6'7" tight end. I love a 6'7" tight end. Okay. Now we have 11 personnel because you got the tight end here at the bottom. You got 2 receivers into the boundary and 1 up top. And what's Nico going to do? He's going to send in motion. And he gives the ball off to Tony Mathis once again. And it looks like it was a good handoff, good read. He shouldn't have kept the ball. Good read. And, see, look at that. You see that? Okay, somebody want to say he's just a workhorse. That ain't no workhorse. That's more than a workhorse. That's a dude with skill right there. Ow, broken ankles. Happened to me before. I tried to make a tackle on an interception, and I looked real silly. So, been there, done that. Not doing anything on me. Got nothing over on me. So again, what do we got here? Another handoff to Tony. Now look, Tony sees it going backwards. I don't want to keep harping. Tony's gone. But again, I did like the blocking there by the offensive line. We got slow motion going in here. We got Caden Beiser. How about Caden Beiser going and popping in there? Now, he was supposed to do that, so they took a gamble right there. But you got to like Caden's shot. Now, I coached his dad. Now, he coaches at Morgantown High School. So this goes back and down. I coached his dad when I was here at WVU, and his dad was tough. You look at him now, he's like all stiff neck and stuff, and that's the way he played. That's the way he played. All right, are we getting here near the end? Oh, my goodness. Oh, looks like we got 11 personnel, but it's a 10 personnel formation. You see Cole Taylor goes in motion. He gets a hip by hip. Oh, now look at this. What does that tell you right there? That tells me that it's in man. So Nico is young. They're in pistol formation right here. That tells me when I see that Cole Taylor goes in motion. That's why you go in motion, right? You want to see what coverage it is. And what do we get? Roll it. Oh, we had the screen. Now, okay, so that was not an RPO. That was not a run pass option. That was a run with the screen set up on the back. And Nico and man made the right call. That's the right call there. The play was not executed well. I don't know if it got tipped at the line. I don't know if he dropped it, the receiver. I don't know if I couldn't really tell if it was a bad throw or not. But I will say this, is that was the right decision. But now, getting youngsters to do the right decision, it's important. And I like, gosh, that's Devin Carter, NC State. I do think he's a talent. I think that was a very good get by the Mountaineers and Neil Brown. Let's see here. We got Joy. Nico is now squaring up his shoulders or it looks like to me. Okay, Joey, we call that the armchair quarterback. Go back to your Artisan Grange. No, good call. Probably isn't here. I told you I want conversation, man. It's good. It's all good. We're going to break this down. What do we see here? Okay. Yeah. All right. This is one part with Nico, and I thought that, the whistle's there and it blows really quick. So I didn't think Nico had a chance. But I thought that the offensive line came quickly at him here. Not sure. I can't see the whole field, so it's hard for me to tell. I'm looking up the receivers. Now, if you look here, the receivers, they all stop. Okay, so that's also a problem. You might want to come over to the running back that's flaring out, check him out. But these receivers doing the cross here, there might be one up top, not sure what's happening. Okay, right now I think this would be a time, if he's not going to be able to throw in the middle here, he's not going to be able to throw to the side, the running back, this would be a great time to go ahead and make the run. Again, it's a little tough when they want to blow the whistle on you, and both quarterbacks suffered that day for it. And he gets stuck right there. Okay, what's the next play? I told you this is going to be fun now, didn't I? But we got to, okay, this is it. That's it. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and knock that off. And whew, first time live, baby, breaking film down, going over and trying to operate with these tools, man. And yeah, this is fun. So we'll continue tomorrow. Now, I think I got Mark Plants coming. Remember Mark Plants? Charleston dude, man, and he's a fullback. He's a big old square head dude, and he put his head down and run right through everybody, right? He's a fullback, Imagine that he's a lawyer. I never met a lawyer fullback before. Now, I met a lawyer who was a linebacker, but he's kind of a GQ guy, so Lee Javins. He's kind of, he's a lawyer. He's GQ. He's more GQ and a lawyer than he was a linebacker. But Mark Plants, he's got the chin. Well, I think he's going to come on tomorrow's Thursday, right? Yeah, come on tomorrow. Talk about the Hall of Fame. He is now the head of the Hall of Fame in West Virginia, and that's for the College Football Hall of Fame. So he's going to come on and tell you guys, we got to get Aaron Beasley in. Aaron Beasley's up for College Football Hall of Fame. Shh, it's a whisper, right? No, it's not a whisper. We got to get him in, and he's going to come and tell us how to get it done. And I'm excited about that. We'll pick up our film here video, and we're going to be breaking down film of last year after the spring game here. We're just going to get it done, man. And I hope you had fun with that. I'm all fired up, man. My blood. Listen, everything you hear from me about these guys, if they're not getting it done, it's all right. They're going to get it done. But we got to hold them accountable. That's how you do it. You want to change? You change and say, son, that's not accountable. When I had to go on the phone with Mike Jacobs up in the box during a game, okay, you never wanted to do that. Quarterbacks are on the phone all the time talking to the coach up there, hey, great pass, or, this is what we're looking for. You never want to get on the phone with Mike Jacobs because it only meant that you screwed up. And that's the truth, okay? We hold you accountable. That's the way. Get used to the way I am, unless you don't want to enjoy it. If you don't want to enjoy me, that's fine too, and whatever. But I'm going to bring the truth. I'm not going to back off. I'm not going to hide it because I want the best for these young men. I'm a mountaineer. These are my young brothers. And darn it, if anyone sits there and says, hey, you can't be hard on them, bunch of bull, because we want our guys to succeed, and they can't succeed if they're not being told the truth. And the Wolfman's call is all about the truth. And that, my friends, is it. So you have a great night, and we'll see you tomorrow. Going to try to go about the same time, 5 o'clock. All right. God bless. Take care. I got to have an ending. I got to get something to go out like boom, 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 boom. All right. Later.